On today's video, we're doing a little status update on our move to Disney World and what's next.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Dan and Leslie here. As we are publishing this, we are actually on our way to Orlando. We are actually probably right now, we are unpacking boxes. We have recorded this. Yeah. We have pre-recorded this.
You should feel bad for us.
So join us in 2 weeks and we will have the first video showing that process, what the move has gone like. Hopefully we are still smiling and hopefully we have not just completely, I don't know, lost our minds and are crying somewhere between here and Orlando.
Oh, let's hope not.
To recap, we are going to just very quickly go through the entire process of what we have gone through to this point, where we started, what made us make this decision, and lead that into the actual move itself.
So if you watched our videos for any amount of time, you know that our original plan was to leave the United States and do a family gap year traveling the world. Then of course, the pandemic came and we started, that was still our plan for a while, for the first part of the pandemic.
A couple of months until we realized that this is not going away anytime soon.
Yes.
So we had sold our house, came into this rent house, started our savings rate, growing our savings rate to save as much as we possibly could. That's what launched the whole financial independence to travel, if you've been around the channel for a while, which is very, very good because that helped us when we made the transition to moving to Orlando.
I had been a travel agent for a while and we had always had a dream of launching our own travel agency, but we didn't want to do that whenever we were traveling the world. Just, it didn't make a lot of sense. So when we started reevaluating our plan, which was in about July of 2020, we were on a 15-day road trip that we talked a lot on. We started reevaluating things and deciding that, you know, maybe we shouldn't plan for the world travel year. Maybe instead we should go ahead and move up our plans and launch our travel agency now. And so we did. We
started Fantastical Vacations and it's been going great, actually. Yeah. That has been a ton of work, but it's been worth every minute, and our focus has been on that, but that is enabling us to quit our jobs here and move to Orlando. That was in July, started the agency, we started all the process in August. It didn't launch until September, but through that, we started trying to figure out how we were gonna tell our family and our friends, who all obviously live here, that we were going to move 18.5 hours away, like 1,300 miles, to the place where we love to be. Yeah. And that was an interesting process.
Yeah, so they had already known that we were going to travel the world for a year, but of course that meant that we were coming back here at the end of that year. And so this was a little different. However, I don't think anybody was really surprised. I think that they all just kind of went,
makes sense.
Makes sense.
We told them first, and that was in probably early November of last year, 2020. And then we went ahead and told our works, respectively, that we were going to quit at the end of 2021. And neither was surprised. They were both actually very, very supportive of that plan and worked with us to create a plan of transition for them and for us. And so that was really, really nice and thoughtful of them. But then that kind of launched us into full on, let's start the move mode. We
did what any two normal people would do and obsessively started watching YouTube videos about moving to Orlando.
We randomly called this realtor, Ken Posick. He's on YouTube, he's got a ton of followers. Definitely check him out if you're thinking about moving to Orlando. But we called him one day and he answered the phone and we hit it off great. And so we're like, hey, we're not moving for 14, 15 months, but we want to go ahead and start looking for a house. And he's like, cool.
We initially thought that we wanted to build. So we had actually done a lot of research, really found the locations that we were interested in. We made a trip in December of 2020 and went down and actually drove around some of these locations and were able to narrow down exactly where we thought we wanted to be. And we were particularly waiting on one lot to open up.
I would highly suggest that if you're doing this and you do make a scouting trip and you know you want to build like we did, go ahead and drive through some of the pre-built out areas for houses that are maybe just a little older, just in case, because we thought, no, we're building.
Yeah.
Well, one thing led to another, and we didn't end up building, and we bought a pre-owned house in an area that we had never driven around in. And we've talked about this in previous videos, but it was a little bit stressful because we weren't sure. I mean, we were sure from Google Earth that we liked the area, but we weren't sure what it was gonna, like if there were gonna be weird neighbors or
weird smells,
whatever.
Yeah.
We came back and we waited on this lot to open up, which it finally did, and they gave it to someone else.
Even though we were supposed to get it, but that's fine. It actually worked out very well because prior to that happening, we had started, there were a couple other red flags. If you've watched our previous videos, then you know more about them, but there were a couple of other red flags with this company that we just weren't totally comfortable with, and so we had started transitioning our thought in looking at pre-built homes. So we had our, you know, Zillow and realtor.com filters set to all of the things that we were looking for. So instead of YouTube, now we were obsessively checking Zillow and realtor.com.
Multiple times an hour. It was really, really bad. But we had to, because this was right at like the transition of where the housing market
like exploded.
Went crazy. So this was kind of mid-December when we were starting to make this transition, and into January we started full on looking for pre-owned homes. And so we, you know, Ken made that transition for us, and we were like contacting him like, hey, this thing just listed, like, let's check it out. And he would go take video walkthroughs for us. We actually made an offer on one house that fell through, which was a blessing because it wasn't for us.
Yeah.
And then that's...
I think we made that offer because we felt desperate because the housing market was being so crazy.
Interesting. The reason we started looking so early because we thought we were going to be in like an 8 to 10 month build process, and we wanted to go ahead, we wanted to make sure that we had closed on it with enough time to move and not feel stressed about it. But when that went away, we're like, should we wait? But with the housing market, like, it was just getting crazy. We made the decision, like, let's keep looking, and if we find the right house, we're gonna go ahead and close on it because we would be less stressed paying, you know, 6 or 8 months of 2 housing payments and our savings rates being, you know, way, way low, almost nothing. We would be less stressed doing that than if we waited to like 3 months before we move and we wouldn't be able to find anything. I
vividly remember sitting at home one day, it was the beginning of February, and actually I think it was the end of January, January 28th to be exact, that we were sitting there.
I don't remember that.
I don't know. I was sitting at home working, and you called me and you said, I found our house. And sure enough, I got on. I was instantly in love with it. We immediately called Ken and said, we want to make an offer and then have you go walk through later. Like, we knew we wanted this house.
So we made an offer that day, had not done the walkthrough, video walkthrough or anything. It was promptly rejected because this was on a Friday. They already had 8 showings, I think it was, for the next day, and probably more coming in at that point. You know, you can go watch that video. Long story short, we ended up getting the house on Sunday. It was a very stressful weekend. We got in this bidding war. It was a whole thing. But then we flew down the next weekend because we had a 10-day inspection period. So we set up an inspector, and then we flew down to inspect it, walked through it, fell in love with this thing.
We knew. It's just perfect.
It's perfect for us.
We already had a trip planned for March of 2021, and so it actually worked out perfectly that our closing fell during that week that we were scheduled to be there. So it was unbelievable. So we were able to take some time during that week whenever we were there to set up somebody to come in and take care of the pool, lawn care, the insect repellent stuff, like all of those things that we needed to do, we were able to do them all in person because we were there for the closing. That
was basically starting the plan of this weird period where we would go down for a long weekend, check and make sure everything was good. You know, we have video cameras, we know the neighbors, like they would alert us if something was weird happening there, but we felt better going and, you know, making sure that there wasn't a running toilet or something, and coming back and forth. And it's been it's been a summer. So if you saw the hurricane fear video, like that's probably been my biggest thing. The whole thing is obsessively, again, checking the hurricane app and the weather app and the weatherman that's local there. Just looking at all of these storms out in the Atlantic, seeing, okay, are we gonna have to run down there and fix a roof or something? Luckily, we are at the end of that. We are currently, again, unpacking boxes and unpacking a U-Haul. We will go through all of that here in a couple of weeks, like the actual vlog of that happening. So I'm really looking forward to that.
We have also been, over the last several months as we've been going down there, we've been ordering furniture, some online, some in person at stores whenever we're there. So we also currently, hopefully, Pottery Barn is delivering our couch and our kitchen table. So
I tell you what, the shipping right now is crazy. Like you'll order something and it will be like a 3-month, 4-month, 5-month lead time. It is nuts.
It's insane.
So just doing this, our poor neighbors, like they have had to go over there and move stuff in our garage because the shipping will be off. Like it'll say it's coming in 4 months and it'll show up a week later. It's nuts. I think we have all that taken care of. So let's talk about where we go from here.
For the past month and a half, we have been purging every weekend. We fill Dan's truck, the bed of his truck, every Saturday and Sunday, and he dumps it that week. And so we have been trying to get rid of as much stuff as humanly possible.
I have torn apart more old dressers and just pieces of random furniture just to get them in the back of my truck, and so I can physically like unload and dump them. It's been nuts, but we're gonna continue purging over the next few months. So
we're almost done. I don't think we can purge
I know.
much more.
There's not that much left to throw away here.
Yes.
But once we get back from this trip, we will have less than 2 months, like a month and a half before you guys move for good. So we have 2 moves scheduled. So the move we're on right now is literally moving about 2/3 of all of our furniture. We're keeping the beds here in Oklahoma. We're keeping some essentials here in Oklahoma, clothes, a sofa, sofas and TV, that kind of stuff here. But all the other stuff, this patio furniture, the grill, like all of that stuff, we are taking to Orlando because we've got 2 trucks reserved. We've got a 26-foot U-Haul that we're moving right now. And then right after Christmas,
December 26th to be exact.
We've got a 20-foot U-Haul that we are driving, so we have to get it the day before Christmas Eve, load it that night, go do Christmas with both of our families, wake up the day after Christmas, and drive 18 hours to Orlando and unload that thing, and then hopefully the entire move will be complete.
And not to mention, we'll have a 100-pound Great Dane and a 7-pound cat.
Yes, that should be fun. That should be fun. Leslie and the kids will stay there, and then they will live permanently there. The kids will start school, obviously, right after that. I come back here to Oklahoma to train my replacement, who we are in the process of finding now. And 4 weeks later, I have a one-way ticket booked.
And then the move will officially be complete.
Yes, and I am so looking forward to this. It has been a long time coming. It's hard to believe. It feels like this year has just flown by, which is amazing because I didn't think it would. I thought it would drag on.
Once Dan gets there, we have a month of fun planned for February. We haven't actually completely planned all of it yet, but we are kind of looking at, because we know that with this transition of a move, it's gonna be hard to not feel like we're in vacation mode all the time. And so we're allowing ourselves that first month, once we are all 4 there, to essentially be in vacation mode. So we're scheduling fun things every weekend. We're gonna probably eat out a lot more than we will on a regular basis. We're gonna do some exploring. And so that will be the month that we kind of just like let ourselves go just a little bit and give ourselves some grace period to just have fun and let loose. And then March we'll kind of try to start getting into like our normal routine for whenever we live there.
Absolutely. That is the story in a nutshell. That's where we're at. That is our plan for the next few months, and we hope that you come along the way and join us as we do this.
All right, so if you like what you see on our channel, we would love it if you would subscribe. Come join along on this crazy adventure of ours. It is really so much fun and something that I don't think either of us 5 years ago, we never would have believed you if you said that this was going to be us. So anyway, come along with us, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and just enjoy the ride.
We will see you on the next video.